We're going to talk about one of the most important things that can help to build your business quickly, and that is developing compelling presentations that turn prospects into partners. Welcome to our Network Marketing Success Series. I'm Scott. Today we're focusing on a skill that directly impacts your recruiting results, and that is presentation skills that will convert prospects into business partners and customers. So here's a sobering reality, right? Most network marketers lose up to 80% of their potential recruits during the presentation phase. It's not because their opportunity is not valuable, it's because their presentation fails to connect, to convince, to convert. Think about it. You've done all the hard work of finding the prospects, building rapport, getting them to a presentation. But then if that presentation doesn't effectively move them to action, all that effort goes to waste, right? But the good news is that presentation effectiveness, like most things, is a learnable skill. Top recruiters, Eric Worre, Todd Falcone, Robbins, they weren't born as master presenters. They developed specific techniques that dramatically increase their conversion rates. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a proven framework for creating and delivering presentations that convert at 2 to 3 times the industry average. See how valuable that is? It's whether you're presenting one-on-one to small groups or to large audiences. The principles, they're going to transform your results. So before we dive into specific techniques, let's understand the conversion formula, all right? The psychological framework that drives presentation effectiveness. Effective presentations, they always follow this formula. Engagement plus relevance plus credibility plus desire minus friction equals conversion. You might want to write that down. If you have to rewind a little bit and write it down, write it down. So first, engagement is capturing and maintaining attention throughout your presentation, right? Without engagement, nothing else matters because people simply won't absorb what you're talking about. Second is relevance. You want to make your presentation directly applicable to your audience's specific situation, their needs, and their desires. This actually creates the crucial, this is for me reaction, right? Third is credibility. You want to establish trust and believability for both you and your opportunity. So credibility overcomes the natural skepticism that people have towards network marketing. Fourth is desire. You want to create a genuine emotional and logical motivation to take action. Desire is the internal, I want this response that precedes action. Fifth is friction. You want to minimize obstacles, minimize objections, and minimize the effort required to get started. So friction is anything that makes it harder for someone to say yes, okay? So when these elements all kind of work together, then conversion absolutely happens naturally. So rather than having to convince someone, you're creating this environment where taking action becomes the obvious next step. So let's talk about how to implement each element of this formula, right? Engagement mastery, because engagement is about capturing and maintaining the attention from that very first moment to the last moment, right? Here are 5 powerful engagement techniques used by the top presenters. First, the pattern interrupt opening. So the first 30 seconds of your presentation are critical. A lot of people call this the hook. Most presenters waste this opportunity with mundane introductions. Instead, use a pattern interrupt that breaks people's expectations. Provocative question. What if everything you've been told about creating financial freedom is wrong? Or a shocking statistic. Did you know that the average millionaire has 7 different streams of income? Or a powerful statement. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you how ordinary people are replacing their full-time income within 12 months. You could have a compelling story. 3 years ago, I was working 60 hours a week and missing my children's lives. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how that changed. So the key is to create an immediate, pay attention to this response that sets the tone for your entire presentation. All right? Now, second is the 10-minute rule. So cognitive research, it actually shows that attention naturally wanes about every 10 minutes. Top presenters combat this by designing deliberate engagement spikes. So you want to change your delivery method, switching from slides to demonstration, or incorporating participation like from questions or raise your hands or having discussions. Or you want to share a relevant story or example at that time. Use strategic movement or voice variation. Introduce a visual aid or a prop. So if you plan these engagement spikes strategically throughout your presentation to maintain attention when it naturally decreases, right? Third is strategic storytelling. So stories are 22 times more memorable than facts alone. Effective presentations weave in 3 types of stories. Personal transformation stories will build connection and credibility. Customer and team member success stories, they'll provide social proof, super important. And then what if stories that help prospects to envision and see their own success. The most converting presentations, they'll include 3 to 5 strategic stories that drive key points rather than just relying on facts and information, okay? Now, let's talk about visual impact. 65% of people are visual learners, so processing images 60,000 times faster than text. Top presenters, they'll use compelling images rather than text-heavy slides. So implement the 1 idea per slide rule, use visual metaphors to explain complex concepts, and incorporate before and after visuals to demonstrate transformation. Also, you can include aspiration-triggering lifestyle imagery, right? The rich and famous type of pictures. Remember, they should enhance your message, not compete with it, or just repeat what you're saying, right? Then you want to figure out participation, because passive listeners convert less than active participants. You want to increase engagement through strategic participation, guided visualization exercise, quick partner discussions. Ask relevant questions that require hand raises, or simple calculations personalized to their situation. Physical movements that will anchor key points. When someone physically or verbally participates, their investment in your presentation increases dramatically. That's an important statistic. Now, relevance, it's all about customizing your presentation to your specific audience so they feel this is for me. Here are 4 techniques for engineering relevance, right? First, you want to have audience intelligence gathering. So before your presentation, know who your audience is, right? Gather critical information about your audience, their current situation, their careers, their lifestyle, their financial status. Understand their pain points and their challenges, the things that they're facing. Know what their goals and their aspirations are. What are they working toward? And then, do they have previous experience with network marketing? Understand the objections they're likely to have so you can talk about those beforehand. This allows you to kind of tailor your presentation accordingly. For one-on-one presentations, this happens through pre-presentation questions, right? For group presentations, you want to think about a quick opening survey or research your audience demographics in advance. Now, secondly is the pain solution bridge. People are motivated more by moving away from pain than moving toward pleasure. So effective presentations, they explicitly connect audience pain points to your opportunity as a solution. Learn to articulate specific pains your audience is experiencing. Amplify the consequences of those pains remaining unsolved. Present your opportunity as the specific solution to those exact pains and demonstrate how similar people have overcome these same challenges. So, for example, rather than generic statements about financial freedom, address specific pains like living paycheck to paycheck or missing your children's activities because of work. Now, the third step is future pacing, all right? Help your audience to experience their future success through guided imagination. So powerful. Imagine waking up 12 months from now and checking your phone to see, or picture yourself at this time next year when you've built a team of, or fast forward to this time next year, how would it feel to have $50,000 in your bank account? This technique, it makes abstract benefits tangible and personal. The more vividly you help them experience their future success, the more relevant your opportunity becomes. Now, customization markers. So throughout your presentation, include signals that you're speaking directly to your audience's situation. These customization markers, they may include things like references to their industry or profession, or acknowledgement of their specific challenges, or examples featuring people very, very similar to them who were in their same situation and broke through. solutions tailored to their available time and their available resources. These markers, they signal that this presentation was designed specifically for you rather than feeling like a generic pitch that they've heard many, many times before. Now let's talk about credibility construction, okay? Credibility addresses the natural skepticism that people have toward network marketing opportunities. So there are actually 5 techniques for building unshakable credibility. First is strategic vulnerability. Counterintuitively, acknowledging challenges builds more credibility than presenting perfect results. So share your struggles from your journey, okay? Admit your limitations of the opportunity. It's not for everyone. It requires work, for example. Acknowledge common concerns before they're raised and present balanced perspectives rather than one-sided hype. This helps to build trust. It establishes you as honest and trustworthy rather than being just plain salesy. Secondly, evidence stacking. So you want to layer different types of evidence to build comprehensive credibility. So data and statistics from reliable sources, third-party validation, okay? Before and after demonstrations, specific detailed case studies. So your personal results can be another way, right? The key is variety. There are different types of evidence that appeal to different types of people and different personalities. Third is have appropriate authority positioning. So establish yourself as a trustworthy guide without appearing arrogant. You want to share relevant credentials or experience when applicable, or demonstrate your knowledge through insightful analysis. Reference your learning journey or your mentors, and show evidence of your commitment to others' success, okay? But the whole time, maintain humble confidence in your delivery. The goal is always positioning yourself as someone who can help them achieve their goals, not someone trying to impress them or sell them, for that matter. Fourth is objection, okay? So address likely objections before they're raised. You might be wondering about the startup costs, or a common question is how much time this actually requires, or some people worry about market saturation. So these techniques, they demonstrate that you understand their concerns and you don't have anything to hide, right? Fifth is social proof, which is absolutely powerful. People look to others' actions for guidance. So incorporate social proof strategically. Success stories from relatable people, not just top earners, growth stats, company achievements, team culture examples and testimonials, or customer experience stories and feedback. Community impact and recognition. The most effective social proof features people similar to your prospects, not just extraordinary results from unusual cases, okay? Now, keep this in mind. Desire creates the emotional and logical motivation to take action. So there are 4 techniques to amplify your prospect's desires. First is the benefits cascade structure, okay? Structure benefits to build upon each other in increasing importance. So tier 1 is immediate benefits, immediate tangible benefits, products, or initial income. Tier 2 is lifestyle enhancements, time freedom, stress reduction, more money in the bank account. Tier 3 is to identify, legacy benefits, so personal growth, impact on others, on their families. This structure actually creates a progressively stronger emotional connection to your opportunity. Now, second is loss aversion framing. So people are more motivated by avoiding loss than achieving gain. So frame your opportunity as avoiding significant losses. The loss of potential income if they delay, the loss of positioning in a growing market, or the loss of time spent on less rewarding pursuits. The loss of control over their financial future, that's a big one. Or the loss of the lifestyle that they truly desire. So this framing actually creates urgency without using manipulative tactics. Now, third is the contrast principle. So highlight the difference between their current reality and the potential future. Current financial trajectory versus opportunity potential. Time freedom comparison charts. Lifestyle contrasts through compelling visuals. We talked about visuals before. Emotion comparison, so stress, frustration versus fulfillment and happiness. And long-term outcome differences, right? The greater the contrast, the greater the desire for change. Fourth is the peak end rule. So psychology shows that people remember experiences based on the peak emotional moment and the ending. So structure your presentation with an identified emotional peak, whether that's an inspirational story or a powerful demonstration. Then you want to have a strong ending that will reinforce the key benefits and create urgency. And finally, have a strategic emotional pacing throughout the whole presentation. This technique ensures that your presentation, it's going to create a more memorable impact that will actually spur people to action, okay? Now, let's talk about friction. That's basically anything that makes it harder for people to say yes. So you want to use these techniques to reduce friction. First is the clear path forward. You want to remove any uncertainty about what the next steps are. You want to clearly outline exactly what happens after they decide to join. You want to break the whole getting started process into simple, easy steps, and you want to provide a specific timeline for their first 30 days. Show exactly what support they're going to receive and address the common initial concerns proactively. So what this clarity does is it eliminates the fear of the unknown that prevents many people from signing up. Second is risk reversal. Reduce perceived risk of making the wrong decision. Explain the guarantees or return policies. You want to highlight low initial investment compared to other businesses, or emphasize company stability and longevity. Address what happens if they decide it's not for them. And then share retention and statistics or satisfaction rates, okay? The goal is making yes feel like the safe choice, not the risky one. Third, you want to have simplified decision making. So reduce complexity that leads to decision paralysis. Offer a specific recommended starting option, not multiple choices, okay? Focus on the immediate first step, not the whole journey. Sell the next step. Use decision simplifying frameworks. So most people in your situation choose to do this. Create clear decision criteria based on their goals and remove any unnecessary complexity from the sign-up process. So the easier the decision process, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. Make sense? Now, fourth is the momentum-based close. Create a sense of momentum toward yes with incremental agreements. I use this all the time. Use a series of easy-to-agree with statements before your call to action. Incorporate simple questions that generate yes responses. Reference previously established points of agreement, okay? Build logical bridges between agreed points and then taking action, and then create a natural progression where signing up feels like the next obvious step. This technique is going to make the final decision feel like a small step rather than a giant step. Now, let's integrate all these elements into a complete presentation structure that's going to maximize your conversion, because that's what it's all about, right? So you want to have the problem, agitate, solve, action, PASA. It's a framework that has proven incredibly effective for network marketing presentations. Number one is to state the problem in 3 to 5 minutes. Identify specific problems your audience is experiencing. Use questions to create recognition and engagement. Establish yourself as someone who understands their situation and create immediate relevance and connection. Step 2 is to agitate, so 3 to 5 minutes. You want to expand on the consequences of these problems remaining unsolved. Use stories, illustrate the emotional and practical impact, and help them feel that cost of inaction. Create that urgency for a solution. Number 3 is to solve, okay? So introduce your opportunity as the specific solution to these problems. Present evidence, proof in multiple formats, and share transformation stories that demonstrate results. Build credibility through balanced, honest presentation, and address potential objections proactively. Step 4, for 3 to 5 minutes, you want to create a clear, specific call to action. Outline the exact next steps. Reduce friction around getting started. Use appropriate incentives for immediate decision, and end with inspiration and vision of possibility. So this structure, what it does is it creates a natural psychological flow that leads to higher conversion rates. Now, as always, to help you implement this framework effectively, I've created a comprehensive presentation conversion toolkit. It contains templates, examples, implementation guides for all the techniques that we've covered. You can download it using the link in the description, okay? Now, let's finish up here with specific implementation steps that are going to help to maximize your results, okay? First, you want to audit your current presentation. If you don't have one, then start one using these techniques, okay? Record your presentation. Evaluate it against the conversion formula elements. You want to identify specific improvement opportunities and determine what your baseline conversion rate is, okay? Then redesign it using this framework structure, okay? You know, your presentation using the PASA framework. Incorporate the specific techniques that we've talked about today and develop your key stories, okay, and examples. Have those ready to go and create those supporting visuals and materials. Also, prepare your objection preemption responses. Now, third, and this is so important, is to practice deliberately. You want to rehearse the full presentation 3 to 5 times at least. Practice individual sections until they're smooth and record it and review it for improvement opportunities. Conduct practice presentations with friendly audiences, people, you know, friends and family members, and get specific feedback on each particular element. Now, fourth is to measure and optimize. So you want to track your conversion rates before and after implementation and note specific audience reactions. Gather feedback, you know, from both people who converted and people who didn't. And then continue to make incremental improvements based on the results. And finally, test different approaches. Find what works best for you, okay? Remember, presentation skills are developed. They're not innate. People aren't born with them. The most successful presenters in network marketing, they've just mastered these techniques through deliberate practice and continuous improvement, all right? Now, effective presentation skills, they literally can double or triple your recruiting results, you know, without adding any additional prospects. The techniques that we've covered today, they represent the difference between average recruiters and top performers, okay? Remember that conversion formula? Engagement plus relevance plus credibility plus desire minus friction equals conversion. So when you optimize each of these elements, conversion happens naturally. Go ahead, click on that link in the description, download that presentation conversion toolkit. This is going to help guide you through implementing everything that we've covered today, okay? It's got templates, it's got examples, it's got step-by-step instructions. In our next video, we're going to talk about the future of network marketing and some emerging trends that you really need to understand, okay? I hope you found value in this training. If so, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, share it with your team, okay? Drop a comment, what's your biggest presentation challenges or what your biggest takeaway has been from this training, all right? Remember, you know, in network marketing, it's not just what you present, but how you present it that is going to determine your results. I'll see you in the next video.